Ooh. Sure. Hi. Okay, welcome back. Now we're going to talk about the 10th standard AKS that we have to go over, which is explaining how criteria like angle, side angle, and side follow definitions of congruence. And there's two questions in here. One of them is medium, and one of the questions is extremely hard on your final. So let's look at page 2, this bottom left question. 3 of the 4 items listed can be used to establish congruence by side angle side. Which is not needed to prove side angle side. So first, let's just mark where they are. BD is congruent to BD would be this line right here. BC is congruent to DE would be this line matching to this line. Angle E, if angle E and angle C were congruent, well, we do have 2 sides and 1 angle, but look at the order. Here's an A, here's an S, here's an S. So that gives us SSA, which we know we can't have. That's the one that if you spell it the other way, it spells a bad word. If we're on your paper, where are we on the paper? If we're on the paper, it's down here. These are the pictures that we're talking about. Triangle congruence. So we know that it can't be this one because if we had that angle, then we would have side angle or angle side. So the last one says, what if we had CBD and BDE? Oh, I'm sorry, which one is not needed? So we would not need choice C because we would get side angle. So that's why it would not be this one. All these other 3 we need. Okay. Next, to be able to prove these using side angle side, one piece of information is missing. Which of the following would be that piece of information? Well, again, this says side angle side. We have a side here. We have a side here. We need to have an angle. And not just any angle. We need to have the angle that's between, Richard, that's between these 2 sides. So we need to have this angle and this angle in order for us to have side angle side. So BD is congruent to BD. Well, that deals with the side, so that can't be it. ADB, here's ADB is a right angle. Well, that's not the angle I'm talking about. BD bisects angle ABC. That would be this angle and this angle, so that's not what I'm talking about. So it has to be choice A. Because these 2 sides are the same, it's an isosceles triangle. And we know that isosceles triangles, the base angles are congruent. So it's choice A. All right, turn to page 8. Page 8. We're going to do page 8, number 10. And again, remember, there's 1 easy and 1 hard question on your final relating to this AKS. So which postulate can be proved? We're going to use this figure for all 3 on this page, 10, 11, and 12. Which can be used? Well, we have a side here. We have a side here. And what's the thing that's missing? Excellent. The reflexive side is missing. So because of that, we know it's side. There's no way we can get angles. Remember, the only way we can get angles is if they say something like parallel lines, or if they say something, usually parallel lines, or something with a bisector. That's usually how we'd get angles. Or, of course, obviously vertical angles. But because none of that is mentioned here, it has to be the reflexive. Which transformation maps RF on to FQ? So here's RF. How does this line get to be right here? So a translation means it slides. So we know it didn't slide. A rotation around the midpoint of AF. Well, if it was a rotation, this line would be somewhere over here. So it's not this one. 90 degrees it can't be. So it's got to be reflection on this line. So if this was a line of reflection, and that's pretty much how we get the term reflexive, is from that piece. If statement RQ is drawn, if segment RQ is drawn, which of the following is true? AF is perpendicular to RQ, Well, I know that's true, but let's say you didn't know that was true. So we'll kind of put it like, I don't know. AF bisects RQ. Well, even looking at this picture, we know that this and this, well, it looks like it does actually. Here's RQ. Because we know of the reflection, reflections create congruent parts. So we know for sure this is true. RQ bisects AF. Well, looking at the picture, this piece here is not the same piece as size as this. So we know it can't be this one. So we know 2 is definitely true, and we know 3 is definitely not true. So it can't be D because we know 3 is not true. It can't be C because we know 3 is false. And it can't be A because we know 2 is true. So now we could process of eliminate to know that this was also true. Okay. If you didn't know, that's fine, but that's how you can use test taking strategies to process of eliminate. Flip page 9, question 15. Same idea. Remember, there's 2 questions, one easy, one hard about this type of stuff. What additional information is sufficient to prove these triangles congruent? Remember, order matters. Here we have AB. That matches DE. So this line here has to be matched this line here. Okay. BC is congruent to EC. Well, what do we know? We know that we have a side here. And we know we have angles. Why do we have these angles? What kind of angles are they? Brilliant. So the only thing that we could possibly get is we could either get an angle here. If we had angle A and angle D, that would allow us to do angle side angle. Or if we had BC and CE, that would allow us to do side angle side. So these are the only 2 that would help us. Well, it's not AB and DE because that's not one of the ones that we said. It's not AC and CD because we already have that. They already gave it to us. ACB, well, it's not these either because we already have those angles by vertical angles. So it has to be choice A. So sometimes you can just do process of elimination to see what makes sense. Okay, then we'll start again. I'm trying to figure out how can I get these congruent? What other piece of information do I need? Well, I already know that I have a side and an angle. So I can either have side angle side, or I could have angle side angle. So the only way I can prove these 2 triangles congruent are if I have this angle A and angle D, or if I can somehow get these 2 sides. That's the only way I could either get side angle side or angle side angle. So all I'm doing is process of elimination to see what makes sense. This side right here happens to be BC, and this happens to be EC. So that's why I know my answer is choice A. AB and DE isn't part of this what I need, so it can't be B. AC and DC I already have. And choice D, even though I need it, I already have it because of vertical angles. Because that's what they marked off. You can't tell underneath my pink marker, but they already marked that off as given by that little line. See that line? Here and here. They already marked that off as given. Okay. Which statement is correct? Looking below, this is our last question. Well, here I've got an angle, so I know that T and N match up. Here's my side, and here's my angle. So I know I have angle side angle. And I can tell because my side is touching both angles. So the only one here that says angle side angle is choice B.